Coming up on Point News, the Pens are in the playoffs and the big screen is back. Point News talks to a Penguins executive about how the fan favorite became such a big deal.
Pioneers Pitch In, that special day that had Point Park students volunteering their time around the city.
Dog food's so natural, people can eat it too. Meet the local pet owner turning her kitchen into a test lab for dogs everywhere. Point News starts now.
Live from our studio in downtown Pittsburgh, you're watching Point News.
Good afternoon, I'm Courtney Joden.
And I'm Phil Novotzik.
Playoff hockey is back. The Stanley Cup playoffs began Wednesday night.
And the Penguins are off to a great start, beating the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-3 last night at Consol Energy Center.
In keeping up with the tradition, the team brought back the big screen. Point News reporter Chris Hoffman is here with more.
That's right, guys. Big Board has become a staple for Penguins fans during the Stanley Cup playoffs the last few seasons. It has grown into an event Penguins fans flock to in groves to get all the enjoyment and excitement of the real game, even if they don't have a ticket. Penguins Vice President of Communications Tom McMillan said it was something that they did not bring loads of people at first, but the media brought attention to it to help it grow in popularity. This was a decision they never thought would get to the level it is now.
You never know a great idea is going to be a great idea when you think of it. It starts as an idea, and some work and some don't. And nobody at the beginning said, this is the all-time greatest idea, this is going to work. We didn't, let's try it.
Fans can once again come out to the Big Board and watch the Penguins this Saturday as they continue their series with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Pitching in for Pittsburgh. The past weekend, Point Park students pitched in for the city that the university calls home. Pioneer Community Day volunteers helped with charitable work in the neighborhoods all across the Steel City. Students were partnered with groups including Friends of the Riverfront, the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, and the Humane Society. Work included planting flowers and removing litter around the area. United Student Government President-elect Julian Singleton said once the students were finished, they continued giving back by celebrating with the fun activities.
Then when everybody gets back, we're going to have a party in the park, making no-sew blankets for the Children's Hospital. We're going to make cards for the children. Also, we're going to have a photo booth. We're going to make murals, as well as have a dunk tank on campus for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
More than 200 students registered to be a part of the event.
Last week, tragedy struck the area as more than 20 people were stabbed at Franklin Regional High School. Point News reporter Chris Hoffman looked into how Point Park University keeps its students safe.
Point Park University students walk past the red emergency phones all the time around campus, but how much do they know about what happens at the other end? Point Park Police Sergeant Nick Black says the phone goes into a dispatch center that is manned every day of the year. The 14-person police force utilizes foot, bike, and vehicle patrols to maintain safety around the campus, a place sophomore Zach Aaron says they cover very well.
I've seen them walking around campus. I've seen them patrolling sidewalks. I've even seen them responding to crimes off campus.
Aaron also says the amount of security to enter the resident hall buildings adds to his level of safety. Safety measures include scanning a photo ID with a PIN code for suites and apartments and having a security desk inside the dorm buildings. Each building houses emergency call boxes. Black says these immediately alert police of any problem.
That gives the location of an alert, and our dispatcher is able to look down at the screen and see what box that's coming from, and he can pull up the camera and look at the person at it, and they can speak back and forth while an officer is en route to that location.
In the event of an emergency on campus, Aaron says he feels Point Park Police will get the job done.
The cops, they have to be accredited, they have to have the correct training, so, there's not a doubt in my mind that they're probably prepared for it.
Officer Black wants to remind students that in the event of any emergency, Point Park Police can be contacted using your cell phone or the red emergency phones all around campus. Reporting for Point News, I'm Chris Hoffman.
Over the past couple of weeks in the Pittsburgh area, gas prices have been stable until now. According to Gas Buddy, gas prices increased almost 2 cents per gallon in the past week to an average of $3.67. Nationally, prices increased more than 3 cents to an average of $3.59. The good news is, prices are still lower than a year ago.
It's actually feeling like April outside, so is spring here to stay?
Your weekend outlook is coming up.
Are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
Hi, you're tuned into Point Park University Television, and UView is for you. Stacy?
Yes, Dan. UView is for you.
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 UView is for you. UView is for you. UView is for you.
To me, freedom of speech means there are no barriers to voice opinions. Communication is key to a functioning society and relationships in those societies. I believe our forefathers gave us this right, so if concerns or problems arise, we have the right to respectively use words, aids, and body language to give our message. Compromise may not always be met, but when it does meet, it opens up the world to new ideas, relationships, and makes the world become a happier place.
Pittsburghers got together to walk for a cause at Point State Park. The 1-mile walk downtown last week celebrated the progress made in researching multiple sclerosis. MS is an autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, causing defects in the muscles. More than 3,500 people participated in this year's walk. The money raised supports research programs to help Pittsburghers living with MS. According to the Humane Society, more than half of American households have at least one pet.
One important decision those pet owners have to make is what to feed that special family member. Point News reporter Chris Hoffman introduces us to a local woman who started making her dog's food, and the ingredients will sound familiar.
Dog food is something you just go to the store and buy, but one local resident feeds Avon here the same types of food you and I would eat for dinner. Heidelberg resident Bernadette Kazar was introduced to the new way of feeding her dogs after Ruby, her late Cocker Spaniel, became ill.
Ruby had to be put on a liver diet, which was white fish, potatoes, and she was on that for 6 weeks. And the reason for that is we had to detox the liver.
This special diet was suggested by veterinarian and author of Dinner Possible, Dr. Kathy Alanovi, who's based in the state of Indiana. She explains why people food is just as good for dogs.
So anybody who's under 50 years old thinks, ooh, it's not safe. They never stop and think, why is chicken and green beans not healthy for our dogs? Why is the chicken not healthy for our cats? Our cats are pure carnivores. Chicken should be healthy.
Kazar is currently making the dog food right out of her own home.
Basic, good stuff, things that we should be eating.
Basic it is, with dishes like beef and veggies, meatloaf, chicken, shrimp and veggies, and turkey and salmon hash. Kazar uses vegetables right out of her own garden as ingredients too.
How is it, Chris?
Yum yum.
It's amazing what this, homemade food is doing for them. It's all natural. It's just wonderful.
Not only is Kazar making the dog food for her own dogs, she is working on creating a small business. So far, Kazar named her business Pawlicious. She obtained an LLC license, tax number, and then she had all of her food tested by an independent study lab.
I had to get all the food, which there was about 8 to 10 of them, and have them tested by the independent lab. So that was making them frozen and shipping them to New Jersey. And they tested for protein, carb, and moisture.
Kazar was then able to create a nutritional facts label to send to the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, which has been approved.
When you do this to the dogs and you see how they're eating it and you know you're giving it the best they are getting, it's really rewarding. It's very, very fulfilling.
Kazar hopes to see other dogs enjoy the same health benefits she's seen in her own. Reporting from Heidelberg for Point News, I'm Chris Hoffman.
Kazar plans to get her business out there mainly by word of mouth in specialty pet stores and through local veterinarians.
Playoff hockey is taking over Pittsburgh. Coming up, Point News finds out what goes on behind the scenes to make the postseason memorable for fans.
Despite the cold start to the week, this is a sign of spring. The Point State Park fountain is back on. We'll show you what it takes to get the famous Pittsburgh landmark up and running.
Freedom of speech is my right as an American to voice my opinion, or, if I choose to stay silent. I have the right to practice my religion. I have the right to publish my own works. With this right, we can be creative, innovative, and change the world. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Do you know all the things you can do with your student ID? Along with getting discounts to some of the restaurants around campus. Showing your Point Park ID can net you deals on tickets at theaters in the Cultural District. To check out all the current options, just search Student Discounts on the Point Park University homepage.
An expression, a belief, a symbol, freedom to worship, an unspoken word. To express yourself means standing up for what you believe in. There's a freedom to worship and a freedom to live. To speak never saying a word, to love, to let your voice be heard. The light of your own path. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
The incline is running and trains are moving again following the landslide along Mount Washington. Last week, rocks and debris broke away from the hillside. Point News reporter Johnny Frywald has more with the problem that engineers are taking a closer look at.
Last week, dirt, rocks, and trees tumbled down the side of Mount Washington. Now, a little over a week later, there has been no movement since the initial slide. Debris from the slide landed on both West Carson Street and the railroad nearby, but crews worked quickly to clear the area. The Lamont restaurant located above the affected area was closed due to its proximity and was the only restaurant affected by the event. Pittsburgh Department of Operations reported that there was no movement near the restaurant and cleared it for opening 3 days after the slide. The Duquesne Incline was also temporarily closed to assure safety. Though there has been no additional activity, Pittsburgh Department of Operations is keeping an eye on the site. For Point News Reporting, I'm Johnny Frywald.
It sure is a welcome sign of the warmer weather to come.
The fountain at the Point State Park is flowing. I took a trip to the point to check it out. After months of the winter blues, Pittsburghers are excited to see the warm weather and the Point State Park fountain running once again.
The day the Point State Park fountain is turned on marks the first unofficial day of spring in the city of Pittsburgh, according to many. Just about a year ago, the fountain was officially turned back on at the Three Rivers Art Festival. After being turned off for 4 years due to an over $9 million upgrade and refurbishment, the fountain sprays water up to 150 feet into the air at the confluence of the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers, creating the Ohio River. Getting the fountain ready for its big debut every year does take a little bit of work. Matt Green, park manager, explains that it takes about a full week to get the fountain running smoothly.
We clean out the entire basins, both the inner and outer pools of the fountain, check all the lights, check all the pumps, make sure all the pumps are working properly, make sure there's no major vibrations in the pumps, and ensure all the electronics that control how the fountain operates are working.
The Point State Park fountain has become one of the most noticeable parts of the Pittsburgh skyline. The fountain also symbolizes the three rivers coming together. The peacock fans represent the three rivers, and the tall center column signifies the unity of the rivers.
There's a definite emotional connection to the fountain and to Point State Park. And I think it ends up meaning a lot of different things, from this is a place where people get proposed to, and it's also a place where they remember taking walks with their family as a young child and going to some of the festivals and concerts that may have happened here.
The National Historic Landmark is open 7 days a week from 6 in the morning until 11 at night. Pittsburghers and visitors can look forward to the summer activities in and around the park, including the Venture Outdoors Festival, the Three Rivers Festival, and the Three Rivers Regatta. I'm Courtney Joden reporting for Point News.
If you grab a jacket, today's a great day to head to the Point to soak up some sunshine.
Hopefully the sun is here to stay for a while. Johnny Frywald is here with your weekend outlook. Johnny?
Thanks, Phil. Now, we see that there's a lot going on throughout the country, though it seems that in our region, it's going to be mostly clear throughout the weekend. Now, today it is much warmer than it has been over the last couple of days. We see it's been 36 degrees to start out today. It's going to warm up towards your evening commute to about a high of 62 degrees. Now, that warm weather is going to stay throughout the weekend. On Friday, you're going to have a high of 67 degrees. Saturday is going to stay 64 degrees, Sunday 72 degrees, and as you can see, it's going to be mostly cloudy throughout the weekend, but there's no signs of precipitation. As we come out of that weekend forecast, hopefully the warm weather is here to stay. We all love the sights and sounds of spring. The sun's shining, the grass is getting greener, the flowers are blooming, and the birds are chirping. Hopefully we've put the last of the dreary days behind us and we can move to warmer weather. Now, Chris, a lot of fans braved the cold last night at the big screen. How are the Penguins doing at the beginning of the playoffs?
Yes, there were lots of fans that braved the cold for the big board, and they saw the Penguins start off the Stanley Cup playoffs with a come-from-behind victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. The new division rival of the Penguins took a 3-1 early lead in the second period before the Penguins came marching back, winning with a final score of 4-3. Game 2 is Saturday at the Consol Energy Center. With the NHL playoffs once again present in the city of Pittsburgh, crews are working overtime behind the scenes to make it memorable for the team and the fans. Work such as the logos on the ice involved going 24 hours straight, so it looks flawless out on the surface beneath the skates. Penguins Vice President of Communications Tom McMillan said another task they have to tackle is promotions to bring people into the games.
Well, we always like to keep a few surprises, so we don't say everything. So I think the outside, the buckle up baby signage, I think is pretty distinctive, and you would only see that in Pittsburgh. So that's a different change. From the time you walk up to the arena, you kind of want people to start feeling playoffs before they get in the doors.
McMillan says this is something that keeps the arena buzzing the whole time the team is in the playoffs because it can last for as long as 2 months, as long as teams keep playing to win the Stanley Cup. The Pirates continued their 26 straight division games to start the season as they come back from a 9-game road trip that landed them in Chicago, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati. Guys, they lost 5 of their 6 games, ending there with a sweep against Milwaukee Brewers. They come back tonight and play 8 straight against the Brewers and the Reds for a homestand. Guys, they really need to recover fast because now they've fallen below 500 already.
They just need to keep it up. They need to get those bats going, and they just need to get the points. Get the points. Get the runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season. The Pirates have plenty of time to recover. But like you said, Chris, it's important for them to get some level of consistency.
Yeah, it just started, so.
Most definitely. We saw the pitching. We've seen the hitting. They just need to get together. Now the Penguins, that's good for them, getting that nice come-from-behind victory. That's good to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, so hopefully on Saturday we can see that again. All right, so that does it for this week's Point News. Be sure to join us next Thursday live at 2 p.m.
Have a great week, everybody.